it's really, really tricky out there. And you have Sebastian Saavedra as a rookie only going 222, almost slapping the wall. This now with the sun coming out is really a handful.
It is. When Ed said we haven't seen the sun in several days, he was right. I mean, this past week has just been, if not raining, it's been very, very cloudy. The third lap for Mario Moraes, Jack, is 224.449.
And what's been so interesting is in the last 15 to 20 minutes with the sun out, we like to call it the track is beginning to bake.
Oh, look out! No.
Darn it.
That's
Kevin
the third
Kalkoven.
Car owned by Kevin Kalkoven now that has backed into the wall.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the good news is Mario's okay.
Yes. His other car hit at 128 Gs. Thankfully, this knocked off a lot of speed before he contacted.
Our first incident in qualifying itself. Here it is.
Oh, he was high. He was high coming in.
Really didn't do a
No,
whole
they're
lot
going
of
to
damage,
be able to
it
get
would
that
appear.
thing back together fairly.
Well,
yeah, you always
never
say
know.
that.
You never know how
That's
things
my team
transfer.
owner hat. That doesn't look, that doesn't look that
fine,
bad.
that's fine.
No, Jimmy and Kevin, you're going to be okay.
Wow.
It'll bring a halt to things here as they'll have to clean up the debris on the racetrack and get Mario's car back to the pit area.
Well, we were definitely seeing the indications there as we were just going to Jack, as he was going to kind of say, yeah, the temperatures are going up, and with what you had said. And
Kevin Kalkoven, one of the owners of KV Racing Technology.
Yeah, talking about that track temperature and that story, it's gone from about 95 degrees to now the track temperature's at 107 degrees.
Wow.
You know, we just saw those crashes, and you talked about Sato's crash. Some of the safety improvements that have taken place over the course of the last decade or so, and probably one besides the Hans device, are these custom-fitted seats. Each driver, wherever he goes, he takes his seat with him. Why? Because it's poured directly to the contours when he sits in the car. Now, basically, you're in what they call a supine position in this sort of area this way. This has become so important to driver safety. That along with the rear end attenuator that's on the back end of the gearbox, so that when you crash, this is the formable structure. This will absorb an awful lot of the G-forces that are transmitted, like that 100-plus G-force crash. But here's one of the latest improvements, fellas, that I find interesting. In the surround around the helmets now, what they've done by the onboard black boxes that all these drivers carry, the medical staff has forced for the development an additional headrest. Now, you can see how thick it is. That goes behind the driver's head and his helmet. When there is that force backwards, this also takes a lot of what they call the brain whiplash, and combined with the Hans device, knock on wood, these cars have become so much safer.
You're absolutely right, Jack, and thank goodness, as we can see, Mario is walking away from this crash.
And I just, commenting on what Jack was saying, you have that padding that goes behind the helmet. You have the Hans, but that padding behind the helmet, that's not just padding that you put there that just absorbs that helmet energy. It absorbs it and it doesn't kick it back. They've evolved that energy in that absorbing foam over the last 10 years. It's not just something you go buy at the dime store. I mean, there is a science behind controlling it.
Well, Mario's teammate, EJ Viso, this is his crash from a few days ago, and that was, as Jan indicated, a 128, was it?
128 Gs. The team said that the gearbox housing, and you can see it on impact here, they had never seen a gearbox housing just disintegrate like that did. It was a huge hit for EJ Viso. He was lifted out on a stretcher with back pain, but amazingly was released from the hospital and is back driving.
No broken bones, did get a bump on the knee, I guess, but miraculous that he was not injured. Okay, well, we are in a bit of a lull here because of the first incident during qualifying. It came when Mario Moraes backed into the safer barrier in turn number 2 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Stay with us for more qualifying. Mark on the wall indicates that we have had an incident here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And by the way, he did not hit the safer barrier. Mario Moraes hit just past that on the concrete wall. It happened at turn number 2, Jan. Let's see what happened to Mario.
Part of it is he gets high and the car starts to drift and he doesn't go on the brakes. He gasses it. He stays on. Watch, the front wheels and the rear wheels do not lock up. He's not aborting. He's not going for the panic brakes. He's on the throttle here to try and keep it off, and that's why he goes past the safer barrier. In effect, I think that saved him a lot of damage on the car, the way that he stayed on the throttle. From the other angle, you get a really clear view once the car turns sideways, and let's stop it right about here. And what you're looking at here is the wheels are still rotating in this direction. Both the front, of course, you're powering with the throttle, not having gone for the brakes, and that's essentially driving the car away from the wall, and I think lessen the impact.
Absolutely lessen the impact. Yeah, great call.
Mario walked away, of course. The car not too badly damaged. They, of course, will make that assessment back in the garage area and gasoline alley. But, boy, it's a tough month for the KV Racing Technology team, that's for sure. We have had 23 qualifiers, so the next one will fill 24. We do have the top 9 positions filled, and they look like this. Alex Tagliani is the fastest at 226.392. Then Castro Neves, Franchitti, Power, Dixon, Ray Hall, Muto, Carpenter, and Wilson. Again, the top 9 at 4 o'clock will go into the shootout between 4:30 and 6, as those 9 cars will have their speeds wiped away. They must go out and qualify at least once in the 4:30 to 6 period to determine the starters in the 500 this year. Simona Di Silvestru's car is next in line, and then comes Ryan Briscoe, and then after that, Tony Kanaan. So a lot of action coming up still here at Indy. Was on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a rookie here at the 500 this year. Finished 3rd in 2009 in the Formula Atlantic Championship, and this will give us 4 females in the field. Simona is from Switzerland, where racing in that country is banned. And so she got her racing experience driving mostly in Italy, and is the first Swiss to drive here at Indy since Clay Regazzoni back in 1977. Green flag comes out for Simona Di Silvestro.
Without a doubt, Simona has definitely been one of the drivers this year, as we led up to Indy, that has gotten our attention and really been impressive with what she's shown us her abilities all about.
But she had a very tentative warm-up lap at a 2:11.7. Now, you can't blame her for that, for someone just hit the wall and there's been some cleanup. But the word goes up and down pit road that the track conditions are changed, and she's easing her way in very gradually.
First lap for Simona is 224.389. Not bad at all.
Wow, from a 2:11, that was okay. Let's feel it out now. Let's put the hammer down. Yeah. So nice recovery.
Tracker says 17. This will be the 24th qualifier, so bumping will begin after Simona's run is completed.
Yeah, and remember where she was before she went out for a run. She was already buckled into her car, ready to go. Marias is in the wall, and we know track conditions have changed. I mean, you know, it's you in that race car. It's you against the track. You're not going to anybody else, but you're just kind of realizing things are changing. So what am I really going to have in my race car?
A little bit slower on lap 2, but not much. 224.277.
Talking with her engineers, they said she was respectful of this speedway, like everybody is, but not intimidated. And the gentleman that Glenn Nobbins, who works on our shocks, he said she loves to just drive that car really aggressively into the corners. Loves the challenge of the speedway.
Most of her experience has been in the Atlantic Series. However, she finished on the podium here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2006 in the Formula BMW race that was part of the United States Grand Prix Formula One event. 224.075 on lap number 3.
pretty solid run, as we're all saying the track conditions and temperatures going up. She's giving herself a little bit of margin. She's not letting the car